Everybody, welcome back to the Chuck and Lisa Show. We are back after a bit of a break. Everybody say hello, Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Hey, Dershie, how are you doing, my brother?
Better than I deserve to be, Chuck.
Hey, you got it right this time. Believe it or not, believe it or not, when we were doing our last show, you forgot. I said, "How you doing, Dershie?" He goes,
I was a little tired.
I'm kind of tired. I'm like, dude, you forgot your tagline.
I was tired.
I mean, everybody knows you for that, man.
I was tired, Chuck.
You're tired? What about feathered?
That'll come later.
That'll be when you hit that pillow. I know, man. Traveling overseas really does take it out of you. But we're glad you're back. We're sorry that we missed you guys over the last couple of weeks. But we are back, and we got some interesting topics to talk about. First of all, Mr. Dershie, why don't you tell everybody where we can find us?
I have no idea where we can Oh, no, I do. I was just
kidding. He's pushing buttons. Beware. Hey, my thing.
Wait,
Buy American.
Your thing is on the air?
Might be American Buy American. Yeah. Pay attention here.
Anyway, yes.
Other websites again.
Yes, always.
You know,
I can see you.
We can be found most Wednesday nights.
Top of your head's missing.
Right here, but last week we missed it because I was Europeanizing.
Yes, you were.
But we are back, and so we got a lot to talk about. Chuck, why don't you go ahead and let people know where they can find you?
All righty. You can find me in a lot of different places on the internet. I am at Chuck Nellis on CloutHub, Gab, Parler, WigiWa, which is WG1WGA, or Wego, depending on what they want to call themselves that day.
Hi, Jerry.
MeWe, USA.life,
Instagram,
Tumblr, Instagram, I forgot that on the last show, and I also joined another site today called Minds, MINDS.com. So that's
Mimes?
No miming. It would be really hard to mime a radio show. You know,
let's do that next week.
A podcast.
All right, we're already down a rabbit hole already.
We're not Twitter.
Oh wait, and I am never on Twitter. If you look at Chuck Nellis, you will see lots of comments. Hi, Jerry. But you will not see me there anymore because Jack doesn't love me.
Speaking of that, Chuck, did you hear that after all these years, Twitter is going to dump dead handles so somebody can pick up at Chuck Nellis and pretend to be you now?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, good. Maybe I'll sign up again. I could be at Chuck Nellis.
Maybe.
Again. Redo.
Maybe.
That'd be funny.
Chuck Nellis zombie.
Anyway, you can find me on Facebook if you're a Facebooker at Chuck.Nellis.7, like Bond, but without the 2 double O's. So, Miss Lisa, where can we find you, honey?
Okay, well, I am on Twitter, so there. I'm on Instagram.
You're on their side.
I actually am on MeWe because some of my friends have asked, but I haven't done anything there. But I'm on there.
They're probably talking to you, and you're.
No, they're not. They're not. People are going there in case Facebook dies. I'm not on Gab. Sorry, my ear itches. I am on CloutHub, but I haven't been there for several days because I have a job.
Yay!
I have Louise.
You have a what? What was that?
J-O-B.
What?
I know,
okay.
right?
What?
That 4-letter word?
I know.
I don't know what you're talking about, Lisa.
I have an Etsy store which is called Vintage Velma Finds. I have a Facebook page called The Best of North Carolina. I also have a Facebook page called Vintage Velma. And
you have a real store called Vintage Velma.
I have a real consignment store. It's a booth in a consignment store
and
in
it's
Burlington,
right
North Carolina, exit 143, Highway 40/Highway 85
And what's the name of that
South.
store?
Vintage Velma.
In the store.
Consignment Connection.
Right. So if you're driving by on 40 and 85 in Burlington, exit 143 is the Consignment Connection. You go in the door, straight up the stairs, and like NASCAR, take a left, a left, and a left.
Yep.
Once you're in turn 3, at the end of turn 3, you'll be at Vintage Velma.
There's signs.
She's got great stuff in there. I helped her set it up.
Yep.
Yeah. It was very beautiful.
And those bumper stickers.
And my bumper stickers are for sale there.
Yes,
but if you want an autographed one, you have to contact me. So
I want an autographed one.
Hey.
I'm not talking to you.
Chuck, man, I'm your brother here. You sent me a bunch of bumper stickers, and you didn't sign
And you
them.
didn't autograph them.
All right, I'll send you another one autographed.
Yeah,
I'm
do
sorry.
that.
I forgot.
He's a little slow.
Hopefully it'll get to me before the autograph pictures of. I'm going to drop that right now, Lisa.
Yeah, I don't know. How about just say before Jared gets his baby blanket.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. Well, you can finish that this weekend, probably.
Shut up, Jerry.
Exactly.
No, did you see what he just said?
I saw what he said, yes.
Yes, actually, guess what? We do sell blankets.
That's true.
Not ones that I've made, though.
That's true, because you knit so slow, it's ridiculous.
Because it's not true. But
she does Pearl 1.
I don't knit.
Pearl 2.
I don't knit.
I don't know how to knit it.
It's crochet. It's different.
Okay.
There's only one needle, and it's
there's that bumper sticker.
And it's not pointy enough to stab you with.
See that bumper sticker? Lisa has the information to tell you.
Where?
On YouTube.
I'm frozen, apparently.
Well, hit
it is.
live.
I got it.
It's only $5. I designed it. I took a classic 1960s bumper sticker and modernized it.
No, I did.
Chuck
told me how.
I know I told you what to do. Yeah, and Chuckized it, and I even put my @Chuck Nellis on there.
And then you forgot to.
Hi, Helen. Welcome. So if you want to get one, all the people that bought one said that everybody asked them where to get them, and you're more than welcome to get them. They're only $5, and they're shipped, and they're made in America, of course. If they were like made in China and I sold them like that, be American, buy American, people would like.
No, we bought them from a place in the United States that makes them in the United States. It says right on the back of the bumper sticker.
It does indeed. So, Mr. Dershey, how are you? I've already asked him how he's doing, and he already told me. Where can we find you?
Well, you can probably find me behind this microphone on Wednesday nights.
Sometimes.
Producing the Chuck and Lisa show. You can also find me behind the same microphone at 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights, except for tonight. And if you're listening out there to the Chuck and Lisa show, go and listen to The Right Side of Politics with Chuck and Dersh. We did a special tonight because
unless you're one of my friends.
I was in Europe last week, and then yesterday was my 25th wedding anniversary. So I kind of dumped Chuck yesterday. We did a special.
He really did.
We did a special today, and it was pretty good. And
hey, my favorite part of your trip was when you got drunk that one night,
and then you
were hungover the next morning. So you got drunk all day the next day.
Was that Thanksgiving?
And my response to you, now that's a vacation.
Yeah, right.
Was that on Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
It was definitely drinks. Boy, we were there. Anyway, before we get into that, if you want to find me, I'm on social media is @Dersh on CloudHub, USA.life, MeWe, WeGo, Parler. I am on Facebook, but you can't find me. Well, you can find me, but I will just ignore you if you try to friend me.
Everything's normal.
So, anyway, but it was great. Thanksgiving, we didn't have a traditional Thanksgiving dinner. But we went to a
Helen's talking to you in the chat room, by the way.
One of the top. We went to Cherries too. One of the top wineries in Portugal. It's called Callum. It's like the third largest. It's been around since 1829.
Wow.
And they gave us so much free booze, Chuck. I'm telling you.
Woo! That's all you need is free wine. Give me more free wine.
But yeah, they gave us dinner. It was on Thanksgiving.
Did you get an Uber to pull you from your chair?
It wasn't a traditional dinner, but
no?
It was a steak. A steak on top of this combination of so it was like rice and these small little potatoes. They have a name for them. I can't remember the name, but it was amazing. And then they gave us. They started us off with white wine with the appetizer, and then we went to a red wine with the meal with the steak, and then afterwards we got port and
nice.
And coffee, port with the dessert. It was
very nice.
Cake and ice cream or pie and ice cream.
Woo! Yeah,
man,
I got over port very early in life, but that's another story.
Oh, I love port. That's my favorite.
Port's a very strong wine. It's got a very pungent taste to it.
It has Burgundy in it, or not Burgundy.
Sherry.
Vermouth. No,
not vermouth.
Sherry.
Just make something up.
Is it sherry?
It's something with a B. I said Burgundy. It's not Burgundy. It's but the alcohol that starts with a B, which I can't think of for some reason right now. Anyway, it has it in it, and it has it's about 15% alcohol.
Oh wow! Well, that explains a lot.
Twice as much as this. When you do we're live on Facebook, you should make it public, not just to your friends.
Am I live on Facebook?
Never mind. Well, we'll discuss this later when we do Facebook lessons.
Yes. Okay. That would be good.
All right.
Good.
Facebook 101.
Yeah. Dershie's backing up.
You got a backup alarm on your chair, Dersh? Did you hear that beep?
No. That's in your own ear. That's in your ear. I didn't hear anything.
I heard it.
I heard it.
Well, like I said, it's in your ear.
Yeah, that means Dershie's emitting it and doesn't even know it.
Got it.
Not me.
But anyway, that sounds like a great vacation, Dersh. I wish I was there. What? No doggy bags for us?
If you were there now, Dershie wouldn't be there.
That is a really good point, Lisa.
Fourth dimension. Fan. Anyway, we have some fun topics to talk about. Fun! Psychiatrists and the shortage thereof. And the generally the mental health travesty that's going on.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother.
But we'll talk about some of that, and then everybody, except for people that don't like dogs, love dogs. But most everybody does love dogs, and we're going to talk about some of the dogs we've had and breeds that are great for houses and small houses or bigger houses and stuff like that. And seeing NASCAR is now done for the season, and that will no longer be a section of our show so much. Right now, we've decided that we've got a great topic to talk about.
Well, it's because we watch Cars 3.
Oh, we'll talk about that too.
That's part of it.
Yeah, it is. We'll talk about Cars 3. We'll talk about the history of NASCAR. We'll talk about the start of NASCAR and how it came around. It's very cool.
Right here in North Carolina.
Right here in North Carolina in Tobacco Row. So, Lisa, you start us off. Start us off on the topic of mental health, honey.
Because
she's crazy!
Poster child for that, right?
Well, I thought
you're the sanest crazy person I know.
When Chuck said that was a topic, I thought you were going to talk about his mental health, Lisa. And I'm like, I'm not sure. Not sure the audience is ready for that.
That's a mini series.
That might be interesting,
right?
The Chuck note that might be
a marathon. something like that.
Serious.
So
yeah, buddy.
Started working in a behavioral health practice, medical practice last week. Yay me! Which means yay! I also worked 3 days and got paid for 5 because it was Thanksgiving.
That's cool.
So,
but more important is the job. You seem to like it
so far. I'm actually working with real people who are nice to me and don't. Anyway, not mean people who aren't nice to me.
It'll take you a little bit to get used to being in a normal working environment where they don't think they're Ebenezer Scrooge.
They think I'm smart and stuff.
Well, you are smart.
And it's a fancy office building with like other people cleaning for you and clean the bathrooms, and we have security guards and parking passes, and it's like I'm a real person. So,
and it's a small enough company where you're not in the corporate crap.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not. What it is it's almost like a co-op. All the practitioners pretty much work for their own selves, and they use our office and our admin, and then we charge them overhead. And if they want special services, like if they want somebody to schedule for them, or if they want something else, then we charge them extra for that.
Cool.
So that's kind of cool. So the sad part is, we only take one kind of insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, because all the other ones in North Carolina are pretty much horrible when it comes to mental health benefits. We do have a couple of very
supplementals.
Very, very few. It's up to the doctor what kind of insurance they'd like to take. There's only 1 or 2 doctors that take anything other than Blue Cross Blue Shield. Doctor, when I say doctor, I also mean the psychologists who are not doctors. I know we all know this, but some people don't know. A psychiatrist is a medical doctor and can prescribe you medications.
Right.
A psychologist can be a doctor, like a PhD, but is not a medical doctor, cannot write you a prescription for any meds.
Right.
So we have 0 psychologists right now in the practice that are taking new patients because they are totally slammed.
Maybe you ought to take patients. You're actually a psychologist.
Did you listen to what I just said?
I did.
Psychiatrist.
I know. You said psychologist.
No, I said the psychiatrists are not taking any new patients, period.
Right.
Period. They're slammed.
Right.
We've had a couple retire lately as well.
Mm-hmm.
The psychologists, the clinicians.
That's what I was talking about.
The non-doctors. Mm-hmm. There's only 2 that are taking patients right now because they're slammed. But the psychiatrist problem is really, that's not just a North Carolina thing or a thing at our practice. That is everywhere. I talk to my friends who work in California, and it's not only is it a really critical shortage, but many of them can't or won't take Medicaid and Medicare because the reimbursement doesn't cover their costs. Mm-hmm. It's so puny.
I've heard that before.
It's not that they're being jerks about it. It just literally does not cover their costs.
I had my old primary doctor in Maryland actually had that same problem. He said he saw all these people and it took forever to get anything, and then he'd get 30% of what he charged. Right.
Well, you can the payment is quicker now because of computers, but it's not very much, and so most people don't take it. So, not only that, some of our people have, even though they have insurance, have no mental health coverage, as if that's a separate part of your body, kind of like your teeth or your eyes.
Well, they separate your teeth too.
I know they do, and the reason is because those things are expensive, so they take them out of your insurance. So a lot of the people in our practice have to pay out of pocket $150, $200 every time they come in, and some of them come in more than once a month.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. But some people are willing to pay it because they need to.
Well,
but some people can't because they don't have it, and so some of those are the people that you find walking around on the street talking to themselves. We have talked
about this a lot. You and me and Dershi and I have too. There's a huge mental health issue in this problem. And it's not just one thing. It's not just one thing. It's many things. I'm putting them all. Let's do it like many problems. So right now there is a big problem with this because you see them walking the streets. You see them sleeping in corners. You see
it's
them.
not just homeless people.
I'm not talking. I was expanding.
Right.
You see murders. You see rapes. You see crime. You see burglaries. You see people that really are not fit to run a life on their own, and they need mental health help. They at least need help from a psychologist to help get their life straight. But really, many of them need a place to live where it's safe for them, safe for society. And that's where the mental health hospitals did the trick. But unfortunately, they were long ago deemed to be a human rights violation because they were being treated badly. Lisa, you have some stuff to talk about on that, I remember.
Right. So I didn't have time to do my homework tonight because I was actually working a second job up until I got here. But recently I read an article where there was a publication by a psychology professor, well regarded, well known, very charming, very personable, who said that he and some of his students posed as mental patients, entered mental hospitals, and wrote about the way they were treated, and everybody was...
This is in the 60s.
60s or...
In the 60s.
60s or 60s, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So it was talked about, discussed. It was like a big, oh my God moment. Policy was changed because of this.
Yep.
My computer just... Hold on. There we go. Policy was changed because of this. Turns out that the man's passed away, so they couldn't interview him for the article.
Right.
Turns out that he did... that was you. Oh, no, that was me.
That's Alicia. She's wishing us good night.
He did pose as a mental patient and get admitted
Right.
for a while. They can't find any of the other people who supposedly
Right.
did the same experiment.
Right.
They can't find anybody.
So basically, it
So
comes
he-
down to this was
he-
his opinion.
Well, no, not only that. There's no real proof that any of the things that he said happened to him
Right.
in this mental hospital actually happened to him.
Right. So it could completely have been fiction. And the worst part about that is the ACLU, in good belief,
And not just
I'm
based
not
on
gonna-
him.
I'm not, but it had a lot to do with him.
It was one study, but there were other reports.
Yeah.
And yes, there were abuses in
There
mental
were some,
hospitals.
but there were not great abuses as they claimed. So what happened is in 1967, Reagan, let me pull up this article. I've been saving it all day. It's a good one. Reagan is blamed on destroying the mental health care system. But what he did is in California as the governor, he was pressured by the ACLU and other groups as a human right issue that they were being mistreated and their lives were bad by being kept in mental hospitals. So in 67, Governor Reagan signed the Lanterman-Petraeus-Short Act. It went into effect in 69, and it quickly became the national model. Among other things, it prohibited forced medication or extended hospital stays without a judicial hearing. For mental patients, it's a life thing. You know, that's my interjecting. Among other things, the governor signed a bill inspired by those clamored for a civil rights issue of the mentally ill to be on the street, and claimed they'd be better off with community counseling. And as we know, as you have said, there is a severe shortage of psychiatrists. There is a severe shortage of psychologists to help people.
Right.
You can't get it for free. It's very expensive.
Well, I mean, you can get counseling for free. They're just, the person may or may not be qualified.
And it's not available for people that haven't got the money.
Well, no, I mean, you can go get, there are resources.
But there aren't many. Not enough.
Right.
Not nearly
There
enough.
are resources.
Not nearly enough, though. And this is where the mental health hospitals filled the bill, because not only did they have inpatient, they also had outpatient, where people would come in, see a government paid, whether it's state or I guess it was federal. It was federal. No, it was state, because government Reagan did it at the state level first.
It wasn't just Reagan. It was after World War II. It started tapering off. He just pretty much killed it off.
But yeah, by the 60s, it had
70s.
Well, I said that. Well, by the 60s, it had kind of lost steam, and by the 70s, they were gone.
Not
almost
all gone. There still are some.
Very few.
They're mostly attached to regular hospitals.
Right. Exactly. So people always say that Reagan did it. No, he didn't do it himself. But the ACLU I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one because they thought they were protecting people's rights when they were actually hurting their rights by doing this. Hurting their lives, not their rights. So, what do you think, Dersh? Any comments? He's asleep.
I mean, it's not all good and all bad.
No.
Are we even still on the air?
No. No comments really. I had my
Okay.
volume.
So
Sorry,
actually, we're all good. So the I found it was called the Rosenhan experiment in 19 hold on a second.
58, right?
I can't remember if this is the guy that lied or not.
Should be like 58, 57.
No. 1973.
Oh, this was later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's even okay. All right. So, so Lisa, what do you think? What's your solution? What do you suggest?
Well, there's no down and dirty, quick and easy, whatever solution.
What do you think is the best first step?
It's complicated. We can't just suddenly go psychiatrists, and there are some.
Right.
But
I mean, if you're going to do it at a federal level or a state level,
well,
you have to decide that first.
Traditionally, all mental hospitals were state funded, and then the localities would pay to send people there.
Right.
It wasn't ever federal.
I figured you might want to attach it to Medicaid or something like that.
I mean, that would be great, except for the fact that, it's attached to Medicaid now. They just don't pay enough. For anybody to see anybody.
That's what I mean, though.
They need to raise their.
If it was
they need to raise their
adjusted to a
reimbursement
market
rates.
level or a reasonable market level.
Right, but it's not.
Well, especially.
But that wouldn't make there be more psychiatrists.
Especially being a veteran, this is important to me. This affects not just civilians, but it greatly affects, and more to a far higher degree, it affects military.
Right, but you can go get help at the VA.
You can't get good help necessarily.
Oh, that's not even true. Remember the guy that we were sitting next to?
I understand, but you've got
good doctors.
I understand you've got 25 to 50 veterans who are killing themselves every day.
But that doesn't mean they're seeking help.
Well,
and they can't get it.
Sometimes they're not getting the help they need.
Right. What I'm saying is that they didn't necessarily seek any.
But too many are getting through the cracks.
No, I understand that, but I don't agree with your statement that you don't get good care at a VA hospital. That's not true at all. Not true at all. It's not like the bad. It's not like the bad.
Psychiatry. Do you know if they've got a great psychiatry department?
I do not, but I'm just saying. I don't think like the bad psychiatrists go there.
No. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying there's not enough.
Well, there's not enough anywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Literally anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. If you're going to send your kids to college, send them to school to be a psychiatrist, for goodness sake.
Honey, that's medical school, though. Do you realize that's
six years for psychiatry?
And $250,000 of debt.
Yeah.
So it's
but
not
you'll make
really.
It back if you do it.
It's not really no.
Otherwise, we won't have them. So we got to get people.
You do realize that I used to work for a psychiatrist, right?
I do.
He still hasn't paid back his student loans, and he's older than I am.
Mm.
I mean, he didn't start until he was in his 40s.
Then we need to do something to get people into psychiatry. You know how so many airline pilots and whatnot come from the military?
But they got training.
I know. Maybe we ought to make that part of military training, because then you get a whole bunch of.
You can become a doctor in the military. My gynecologist is from the Navy.
Usually, they've gone to college under ROTC or on their own first, the 4 years. And then they get the psychiatry or come in as a psychiatrist. But what I'm saying is make an actual way for college grads to join and get the entire psychiatry through
That's
the
what
military.
I'm saying. My doctor got his entire medical education through the military.
There aren't enough. They need to push more dockets for it or whatever, you know.
Maybe they don't want to stay in the
It's like
military
pilots.
that long.
Well, no. After you get out of after you served your term in the granted time, a lot of people leave the military.
Right.
But they've also
so
gotten
you
their.
can't make them.
You pay them to want to stay. You pay people enough to want to stay, they'll usually stay and make them happy.
That's an
course.
entitlement.
Oh God! All right, that's all I got on this topic.
All
We've
right.
gone into the ditch again, Dersh.
But
Let's-
anyway, it's a serious problem, and it's kind of sad because probably 3 people called up today that I personally talked to and wanted to
Yeah.
make an appointment, and we just had to tell them that we have no openings.
Yeah.
Like, we would
That's-
love to see you. We have zero openings.
And if one of them kills themselves because they had nobody to see, that's a loss that shouldn't happen.
Well, no, they're not.
I mean, I'm in
okay.
no
If
way
somebody
as-
calls us up and they're that distraught,
Yeah.
we're gonna help. Like, get them some help. That's not. But I'm just saying, like, somebody that just moved here from like Wisconsin
Right.
and wants a new doctor.
Right.
We can't even take them because we don't have enough people.
Right. Are there any other places around you that could
No.
do it as well?
Well, I mean, there might. Obviously, there's some places that have openings, but we're busy running our place. We don't have a list of every other person that has an opening in Chapel Hill. You know, we can.
Right. Hey, we got big cans. I am having a big Yingling.
Big cans.
Yes. Hold up your big cranberita.
This is my one drink of the
You
night.
gotta hold it in front of the camera, down where the camera is, back where people can see it. There you go. Oh, I just switched from coffee over to that. That thing's really full.
We should drink
Big
some.
beer. All right, so
Look, I have one more.
we
ounce I
agree.
need to-
We agree that there is a huge problem,
when we don't know how to solve it, because if we did, we'd be getting paid the big bucks.
and it's not gonna be cheap. But it's something that if you walk down the street and you're worried about getting mugged or you're
I'm not
tripping
even
over,
going that way.
I'm just saying I'm adding my own part.
Right.
If you're having problems in your town because of homelessness, chances are most of those people are mentally ill.
Let's put it this way, though. Most of the people that work admin in our practice couldn't afford to see our practitioners.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And it's not because they're so highly priced. It's just because
there's too
most
few.
of it's not covered.
Exactly. We agree.
Although, I have had this. State of North Carolina Bar Association has this thing called Bar Cares, which is really cool, which as a part of your dues, which you have to pay your dues to be in the North Carolina bar, you get 3 visits a year for yourself or anybody in your family that needs it. Not both, but one or the other, or a combination of, and that's covered by your dues. And we have a lot of people that take advantage of that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of probably sucks to be a lawyer, but
First, we kill the lawyers.
yeah. So
That's what I said in the last show.
I
didn't
mean, we
Dersh?
get lawyers, judges. There's not every judicial district participates in it, but more than half do in the state of North
That's
Carolina.
cool.
So that's something pretty cool that we do.
Yeah, that's neat.
And I'm sorry, my nose is so itchy.
You've been rubbing that. You getting a cold too?
No, I'm not.
Darcy
I'm
says she's
allergic.
getting a
I'm
cold.
allergic to you.
You know, you were rubbing your
It
nose
wa-
before you got here.
It what? How do you know that I wasn't here?
No,
How do you know I
acknowledge
wasn't? No, I wasn't. How do you know I was doing something that you didn't see me do before I was even here?
I can't tell you. It's top secret.
I wasn't. That's why.
Alrighty then. Let's move on from the mentally ill. And let's
How are we gonna do that?
talk about dogs. We
Dogs.
all love dogs. I love dogs. And rabbit holes, as Dershi could see.
Dogs dig rabbit holes.
Dogs dig rabbit holes. Dogs dig rabbits. Cats eat rabbits' brains, but that's another topic.
They're tasty.
So they say.
What I understand.
Yeah, but we wanted to talk about dogs, and Lisa had an idea, and you go ahead and take it. You wanted to talk about
Me?
the dogs you've had,
Right.
and what I was thinking also we should talk about what breeds are great for what kind of house.
Well, yeah.
If
Well-
you're a beginning dogger.
Well, contrary to popular belief, sticking on that. Now my eye itches. little dogs are not great for little spaces, and big dogs are good for big spaces. But big dogs are good for little spaces because most of the time they lay around and sleep.
Yep.
So
big dogs sleep.
So like if you have an apartment, a lot of times like a lab is as long as you can walk it, they're good for small spaces because they just lay around.
Yep.
And that's all I got on that subject. But I don't mean of dogs. I mean of breeds.
Yeah.
Also, don't get a border collie or a Jack Russell because they're probably smarter than you.
And they think they're smarter than you, which is
the border collie definitely.
Problem.
The border collie definitely is smarter than you.
Yeah.
Jack Russell, maybe not.
Let's see, dog owners.
So
everybody's pretty quiet on our chat room right now. Get talking, guys.
Most of the dogs my family ever had were mutts.
Yeah.
But we did have. My mother had a standard poodle who was dumb as a rock, and jumped through a plate glass window at something outside. His name was Jet. I don't remember him. We had a little dog that was part Chihuahua and part, I don't even know. It was a little white dog.
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Sudi because I wanted to call her Susie, and my sister wanted to call her Judy, so we had to call her Sudi.
Why not just call her Juicy?
Because that would be weird. We had a Springer Spaniel once. He was pretty cool. His name was Mr. Smith. I'm not really sure why. Let's see. Going down the dog list, there was a kind of long period of time where we didn't have any dogs because we were really just busy being kids and parents, and my parents had 2 jobs, and nobody would take care of the dog when we were at school and all that stuff. So we didn't have a dog for a while. When I was in high school, my parents had those lovely little poodles. I think they had them for alarms, so that when my sister and I came in at night, they would always bark. Always bark. I hated those.
Your mother would do that.
I hated those little crap dogs.
Yep, they're yappy. Little ones are yappy.
Little yappy miniature poodles. One of them's name was, oh gosh, I don't even remember. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my parents had those, and then I think their last dog, no, not their last dog, but the last dog in their Maryland house, they had a dachshund. His name was Snickers. He looked like Charlie.
Yeah.
And then when they moved to Florida, they had a couple of dogs, but I think they were mutts.
Cool.
And
now you yourself.
That was not us. That was Durkee.
That's Durkee.
He's just pretending he doesn't hear it.
He's got beeps.
Okay.
He's got a microwave or something over there going off.
No, it's my
medication.
Well, close. It's my glucose monitor.
Oh, well, that is true. Make sure you take care of that, dude.
Yeah, that's not good.
We don't need you having issues. So,
and then
once you were on your own, you had one dog, or you had 2.
No, after college, I had the only purebred dog I've ever actually purchased.
I don't care about purebred.
Which I don't care either. I'm just saying that was the only dog I've ever purchased that had papers.
Who?
Samantha's Weezer's Westie Samantha. She was a West Highland White Terrier, and she was a puppy, and I paid $400 for her in 1986.
Nice.
So that was pretty stupid, but I wanted it.
You must show me your papers.
Yeah.
They're ways of making you bark.
And her real name was Sammy. And then
cool.
The guy that was watching her for us while we were moving stole her. Larry. Well, yeah, we had one other dog. I think we had one other dog before. We didn't really have dogs when my kids were little because I could barely take care of the kids.
We were always working.
No, we had a cat. We always had cats and stuff.
Cats are easy.
But then my daughter wanted a puppy, so they got a black lab puppy, and his name was Larry.
He was.
Yeah. We ended up with him when it's part of the.
We had him.
We ended up with him in the divorce.
Right. Basically that. He spent his last year of life with us, and
because his father couldn't take him with him to Florida.
I was the last human he saw.
Yeah, I know. Thank you very much. I couldn't do it.
Yep. Now.
And now we have Cotton and Zeus. We had Zeus.
Well, that's my dog that started.
No, he's my dog, so shut up.
We'll get up to that.
All right, now it's your turn. Okay, it's your turn.
All right. Now, when I was kids, my parents were...
How many kids were you?
Just me? That was 7 or 8. We didn't have pets. My parents said, well, no, we moved too much and we're doing too many things, and no, we're not going to have any pets.
They had you.
No, I was the stray who kept running away. Finally when I was about 13, I guess, my parents got 2 wire-haired terrier puppies, which were cute, yappy as hell, and running around constantly, which for a 13, 14-year-old, that kind of works. So I had a lot of fun with them. They were rough and ready. Then when I ended up leaving, that's when I started having a string of animals, cats and dogs constantly. I mean, I had mutts. I had a purebred cocker at one time that my ex-wife wouldn't let me keep because it kept licking the baby. What? Of course it's going to lick the baby. It's a dog.
The baby?
Right.
Oh. So that's what's wrong with Ryan? She got licked by a Cocker Spaniel?
No, it was the person who made us get rid of the dog that was the problem. So I didn't have him too long. And then, let's see, I had several other dogs in between. But I was working so much for a time that I only had cats like you because I was just never home. I was working 100-hour weeks all the time. But then, when I got the house up in Maryland, I adopted a lady. She was a beautiful black and tan coonhound. Just loved me to death, and just to her last breath, she was devoted to me, and I'll never forget her. And then we got Zeus. Zeus came to be from a military guy who was going over to Iraq for a tour. He said, please, nobody will take care of him. And I said, sure, I'll take care of him. After his tour...
What kind of dog was Zeus?
Zeus was a German Rottweiler. 100% purebred, gorgeous German Rottweiler.
With a smiley face.
He had a permanent smile, that dog. He was just the most beautiful guy.
There's my drink.
So anyway, I called the guy when he got back from his tour. I said, dude, you want your dog back? And he goes, nope. I said, what do you mean, nope? He goes, well, at this point in my life, I just got back. I got crazy stuff going on. I can't take care of him anymore. So he goes, please keep him. So I looked at Zeus. Zeus looked at me, and I said, you're mine now. Because I always thought I was babysitting for a year. You know? Like I was going to give him back, and I didn't get attached to him. Mm-hmm. But then when I found out he was mine, I just melted. Because you look in those eyes and that smiley face of his. You know what happened the day you met Zeus?
He pulled me out of the chair and knocked my head on a concrete floor. And then I left him.
And then he became your dog. He listened to you far more than me from the day you met him.
Oh, yeah. He adopted me.
He did. He loved you to death. He loved everyone to death.
He loved me the most.
Except my father at first.
Yeah?
My father got scared and acted like a panic person, and Zeus bit him a little bit. But
then he decided your dad did not taste good.
He did not taste good, so I'll be your friend.
All right.
So he loved my dad from there on out. And then from there on out, well, I keep saying that. I sound like one of those NASCAR drivers. I just can't thank enough.
Yeah. Speaking of, no.
We got Cotton.
Yep.
And then most recently,
who came from a shelter?
A
no-kill shelter.
All of our animals have been either adoptions from a person or a shelter.
Well, except for the one I bought.
I wasn't with you then.
I know. It's okay. I didn't use my own money.
And then we just got Sadie, who is an older, purebred chocolate cocker.
Spaniel. Yep.
Second cocker in my life. This time, my wife doesn't make me get rid of it. The first one was a white one.
Because it's not licking the baby.
We got no baby.
We don't have a baby.
Our kids won't breed. It's problematic.
We could get to keep her because she's not licking the baby.
Better than eating a baby. So anyway, we love dog Hershey. I want you to tell us.
That dingo ate your baby.
Hey, if you got any voice left, I want you to tell us about your dogs.
Well, as a kid, mostly the dogs we had were beagles. It's my favorite.
Man, do they talk.
Oh man, yeah. We had a couple mutts, and once we had a black lab
They're such good dogs.
named Smokey, and went to work. My parents went to work, and my brother and I went to school. And we came back, and somebody stole them out of our backyard.
Aww.
That's what your parents said.
Yeah. Well, trust me, as much money as they spent on that dog, they
I know. Just
guarantee they wanted didn't want that to happen. Yes,
Wow.
so somebody took him right out of the yard. One of my favorite
That's
dogs.
terrible.
One of my favorite dogs. When we were kids, we named all of our dogs Smokey. But he was a
Smokey
mutt.
one, Smokey two. They're like George Foreman's.
George Foreman kids.
We go to the Smoky Mountains, so we because
I always think of the movie Friday. Smokey.
our whole family loved the Smoky Mountains. So as a kid, all of our dogs were named Smokey.
That's cool.
One was just a mutt. I mean, he was just a purebred, pure mutt.
Your mutt
He had.
didn't lean towards any breed.
It's like his legs were his left legs were one breed and his right legs were the other.
That's funny.
He was just.
It reminds me of that Johnny Cash song about the Fords.
He was messed up.
Oh, right.
He was messed up, but it was a time I was when we had him. I guess I was 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, and so he became my dog.
Aww.
As dumb as he was, I absolutely loved him. We
Sweet.
we used to have a runner, so I'd take him outside, and between two big trees in our yard, you had about 25, maybe 30 foot
That's cool.
run line. And the dog was so stupid. He would run up and down that line, and he loved it. He loved being outside. He's just running back and forth. And you could walk up to him. Well, you can walk up. Yeah, he did a few times. I'll get to that. But you can walk up to him and start petting him and like, "Hey, Smokey, how you doing? Nice doggy, whatever." And while you're petting him, you could take him off the run line and then walk away, and the dog would just run the run line.
Dogs.
He would stay on the run line, even though he wasn't connected to the chain anymore. He would just
That's funny.
back and forth because it wore out.
Trained him so well, huh?
Yeah, it wore out a path, so he stayed on. He didn't know he wasn't connected. He was just dumb. But my uncle and I were taking him to the vet one day, and my uncle was a smoker, and he used to roll the window down.
Right.
And he saw a deer on the side of the road, jumped out of my lap, crossed my uncle's lap, out the window, hit a car coming the other direction on the windshield, rolled up the windshield, down the other side, sat up in the street dazed, looked around for a few seconds, and then took off after the deer.
Oh, wow.
Didn't even phase
What?
him. Yeah, didn't even phase him. So
That's hilarious.
my favorite story, and you had to see this to believe it, but my favorite story about this dog is the squirrels and the rabbits would drive him crazy. And the squirrels would, one squirrel would come down the tree and distract him, and when he'd run after that squirrel, the other ones would go from one tree to the next tree as like a distraction. And by the time he got to the tree, the squirrel would run up the tree and he'd run head on into the tree. And just like
I don't care who you are. That's funny right there.
the squirrel would go up the tree and he thought he could go up the tree and he just bam head on into the tree. It was
He was
just
watching
crazy.
too many
That's
Looney
fine.
Tunes commercials. I mean,
Oh
cartoons.
man, that's pretty darn funny.
It was.
Right there.
He was a great dog. I loved him. He was a great swimmer. He used to go to the lake with us.
That was your last pup.
And
Go out
then,
and vibe, so.
That was your last pup.
Well, that was as a kid. Of course.
Oh, as a kid.
Yeah, and
Which one did you recently lose that you love so dearly?
and then we
yeah.
had a dog named Smokey.
yeah, Renegade was my boy.
Renegade.
He was my best friend. 13 years.
He was a mutt, or was he a mix?
No, he was a puggle. Pug.
Okay.
Pug and a beagle mix, which is
Yeah.
the last three dogs. The three dogs my wife and I have had, Chiefy and Spirit, or
Right.
puggles because you know I
Like
said
a muggle.
well as I said when I was growing up my favorite dog has always been the beagle, and you know so we had and my wife loves pugs. She never had a
Right.
dog before, but she
Oh, there you go. You just mixed them.
that's the only breed she liked, and we were out to
You guys
breakfast.
had a dog baby.
Yeah, well,
Aww.
we were out to breakfast one day, and we saw the absolute cutest dog I've ever seen in my entire life. And I fell in love with him, and I was like, "Man, what kind of dog is that?" And they said, "Well, it's a brand new breed called a Puggle. It's a pug and a beagle mix." And I was like, "Wow, that's the dog." And so about 2 months later, we bought Renegade.
That's great.
You know, and then we got Spirit, who's a Puggle.
And then he had it made,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Then we got Chiefy as our latest dog.
Yeah. Chiefy was how old is Chiefy now?
He's
He was your baby.
He's about a year and 4 months now. So August, September, October. Well, it's 5 months now. Wow. So a year and 5 months.
Nice. Time
Yep.
flies.
He's my buddy.
All right, so let's see. What do we? Oh, we've been talking a lot already. Dang, time flies, man. It's already.
Now, can we save the
10:25.
NASCAR thing for next
No,
week?
let's talk about
No,
it briefly.
no. It's no, really.
Oh, we'll save the moonshine story
Yeah,
for next
save
week.
save that for next
All
week.
right,
Because it's good, and I want to do a little more homework on
all
it.
right, that's cool. We can
Yeah.
do that. But dogs. I forgot one important dog I had along the way. That's monumental, you might say. I had a Great Dane. Didn't have it for long because unfortunately it got that thing where the stomach twists in the
Torsion?
dog.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stomach torsion.
He was such a huge dog. He was out in the yard playing with the kids, running around, having a great time. He was dead in 24 hours.
Yeah.
It was horrible, and it just broke my heart. So I mean, if you have a dog of that big breed, you've got to be careful.
But there's not always anything you can do
No,
about
there
it.
isn't.
They're just predisposed.
And
Lou had a Great Dane. His name
broke
was
my heart.
His name
He
was
was
Michael
huge.
Jordan.
You did?
Lou.
Oh, Lou.
Oh, can you see me with the Great Dane?
No, he'd be bigger than you by
I
a mile.
know.
You're a T-Rex as it is.
That doesn't have anything to do with how big the dog is.
I know, but you wouldn't be able to hold the leash.
That's true. I could ride it though, probably.
Right. How you gonna hold the rein?
I don't know. Reindeer.
Really close to the head.
Hey, let me tell you a story about Renegade. When he was a puppy,
Yeah.
one of the first dogs he met was a Great Dane, one of those spotted, Dalmatian-looking Great Danes.
Yeah.
And he fell in love with that dog. Because Renegade at that time, he was, as a puppy, he was only about 8 inches tall. I mean, probably 6 to 8 inches tall. But
Right.
when we would take him to the dog park, actually down there where you used to train on Lake Baldwin, Chuck.
Oh, cool.
They turned the beach into a dog park.
How neat.
Yeah, so the dogs could go out swimming and stuff. And when I take him down there to the dog park, the dog would hang out with the big dogs.
Is the boat ramp still there down the hill?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
How cool.
But yeah, Renegade would hang out with the big dogs, and if he saw a Great Dane, he'd spend the entire day with the Great Dane. He'd just run around.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aw. Yeah. Dogs are amazing creatures. I mean, they could be huge and they still care about a little kitten.
Well, except some of them are
A
jerks.
cat, well, yeah, but most dogs, if they're brought up around cats and treated taught not to hate cats, they're amazing. Dogs are just the best pet. But you know what? You also have to not be super busy. Like each one of us have said in their busy parts to their life,
We would
They
just
don't
couldn't
have
have a dog, or we were always at soccer, or had to go to a tournament or whatever,
Right.
and you couldn't bring
if
the
you're
dog.
in those kind of situations
cat.
in your life, have
Have
a
a
cat. And, just get a dog when you've got someone that's going to be at home or
Right.
the ability to be home. Because if you get a dog, it's going to need to be walked every day. And you can't just leave them out, Jerry, I love good moonshine too. We'll have to talk about moonshine next week, brother.
I tried to get Jerry to call in and test out our Skype, but he wouldn't do it.
Hey, somebody wants to try next week. Call in to test our Skype. We'll give you the phone number, the code, whatever you need, and you can come chat with us.
Yay.
Anybody got anything to add? Seeing she took out my moonshine, I don't know what to talk about.
I know, but I can't.
Man,
I
mess
can't-
with a man's moonshine. That's just terrible.
I can't stay up that
She
late.
messed with my timeline. Even more important.
Hey, I'm the one that thought of it, though.
I know, but
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Let's write this down. Chuck can't think of anything to talk about.
yeah.
Whoa,
I think we can talk
hold
about
on.
on this show.
Wow, hang on. I can't
Right?
take this. Hang on.
I know, write this down.
No, nothing,
Elizabeth!
nothing that we
Elizabeth!
that we can.
It's the big one! Elizabeth, it's the big one! Elizabeth! I'm dying! It's a big one! Chuck doesn't have anything to say!
Oh my god.
Don't go in the bathroom for 35, 45 minutes.
Elizabeth!
Okay, here's everybody's homework for next week.
Homework.
Though. Oh, listen.
Yep.
If you haven't watched the Cars, if you haven't watched
Oh,
any of the Cars
We're going to
movies,
talk about Cars 3 now.
yeah, no, yeah. So here's your homework. If you haven't watched any of the Cars movies,
Yeah.
watch the first one.
Yeah.
The second one's all right. It's not that
The second
good.
one's all right.
The third one is very good.
The third one is like
Is
the
what we were-
prequel in
right.
a way.
Well, they have flashbacks.
Right.
Yeah. So third one's really good.
The third one's really good. But they are an excellent movie series.
But
Don't
they're
be
very cute.
if you're a racing fan, it does racing
And
right.
also, in the third one, which I didn't realize until they have
Blaney's
Blaney, they have
mustache!
Chase
Yeah,
Elliott,
Blaney,
Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, and Bubba Wallace.
Bubba.
So they're very small parts,
Very
but they're
small parts.
but they're in there.
Chuck!
You'll yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your thought.
What do you want?
You can't do that to him because now he doesn't know what he was going to say.
I don't know.
That was my plan, Lisa. Shh!
Yeah, not working. The biggest, of course, all the great characters are still there. The Luigi and the Italian
Toe Mater,
Mater.
He's hilarious.
Toe Mater, and Tex. Is it Tex is Humpy Wheeler?
Yep.
I love Humpy Wheeler.
And of course, the part that plays the Hudson.
The Hudson.
Hey, Chuck.
Man, that's
Oh,
a
I
good
know.
character.
So, we're running out of time here. Do you want...
Oh no!
Do you want to make the same announcement you made on
Oh,
our
right.
show?
Yes, I absolutely do.
All right, it's,
Not Obama still sucks because I heard that one.
No, you heard that out the door.
I heard that one.
I have changed occupations. People have called me a writer for many years.
we called you a lot of
Said
other
that
things, too.
Yeah, they have.
And because of my writing, have called me many other things. I'm officially a writer. I officially have a webpage. It'll be up and looking pretty as soon as Dershey helps me get it going, and I'll start doing articles next week once he does. While he does, actually. I if you read the showing.
Yeah.
Oh, we just got stuck for a second. So I am going to be writing at chucknellis.com is going to be where I'm going to be writing
And we
from.
would appreciate the support. Thank you.
That's right. My my friends on the big websites all know that I'm doing this, and my friend that owns the Liberty Daily, which is a far better answer to Drudge, is said he will see if he can help me promote myself a little bit. And by the way, if you're reading Drudge, go to the Liberty Daily. It's a far better
and
place.
chucknellis.com.
And chucknellis.com. It's going to be really cool.
Save it in your bookmarks.
I've always wanted to be a writer. Obviously, by the number of posts I've done 1.4 million posts in my 12 years on the internet doing this stuff, and that's a lot. By anyone's definition, that's a lot.
How many times was it Obama still sucks, though?
Probably
50%?
Probably 15,000.
Not nearly enough.
Probably 15,000. I would say. I figured it out one time. I was figuring out number of days, average number of times I said it per day, and then I just multiplied it out, and I figure I'm pretty close.
Yeah.
It's probably around 15,000.
Good.
So most of them were of consequence, and with the following I had,
Oh, excuse me. I have a job.
and in the following, the following I had,
There's that
I
word
got a lot
again.
of
I have no
folks.
idea what she's saying.
I
Chuck.
know it's a bad word.
So I've been hearing a ton of people tell me for a long time that I should be a writer, including Mr. Dershey, including Jerry, including
Me.
Sneaky Dog, including Lisa, And in my head, I've been telling myself that. And I was talking to God the other day, and I went, God, what am I going to do for a job? I need something that I can do that I'm really going to enjoy.
God said, shut up, Chuck.
And I was in the middle of posting another post and went, you're an idiot. You're a writer already. So I went, okay. So I asked Lisa, I said, should I just become a real writer? And she's like, yes.
That's what I said. Yell yeah. Not hell yeah.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am officially a writer. You are the first folks to hear it, except for the folks on my last show.
I was first.
Oh, you were first. You're
God.
First everything. God told me. God said, Chuck, be a writer.
Only he doesn't talk like that.
He doesn't.
To you, baby.
Are you sure?
That's what's wrong with you. You got the weird God.
There's only one true God.
I'm joking. You got the God with the weird voice.
So anyway, I really would appreciate your support. I'm really excited about this. It's going to be a great new career for me.
Which includes supporting whatever sponsors we get.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking for sponsors. Black Rifle Coffee Company. You know I drink you every single day, and so does my buddy Mr. Dershey.
Here.
Yeah, Yingling, I want you to sponsor me, and anybody else who is a patriotic American who thinks that I can do a good job for them, and I guarantee I will. I'm going to write just as ferociously in 3 to 4 paragraphs as I do.
You know who's not going to sponsor you?
How many characters were there on?
140.
No.
280.
280.
It was 140.
And now I've got 3,000 on some, and I can fill them.
Let's not get carried away.
Well, 3,000 would be a good size article, maybe.
Short and sweet.
Yep. That's my real
that's
thing.
me.
With T-Rex arms. Now, everybody, listen. We are going to be back to normal for our schedule for next week.
What does that mean?
Hours, numbers, digits, time. We're never going to be normal.
See, look, I make somebody laugh.
I know, we aren't normal, and we don't even pretend to be.
Nope.
What is it? No. I am Batman. So we will be back next week at our normal time of 9:30, unless Dershey decides to bog off to Europe or something again.
Oh, but wait.
What?
Next Wednesday,
Yes?
I have to go eat dinner for work, but I think I will be back in time.
You better be. I'm starting without you.
That's fine, but you have to wear a dress.
Wednesday?
I didn't plan it!
Who did?
The people at the JOB that I have that planned it before I got there.
Who's that, the Christmas party?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go to that too.
No, you're not invited.
I'm not invited to your Christmas party.
It's not called a Christmas party. There's so many people that work there, they can't afford to...
What is it, a bat
It's
mitzvah?
a dinner. Just dinner.
Christmas, holiday
It's
dinner?
at a Brazilian steakhouse, and it costs a lot, so they can't afford to let anybody bring anybody with.
Nice. Very nice.
I didn't plan it.
Alrighty then. Well, Dershey, if not, you and I will do a show next Wednesday night.
But if you start...
Boy, it's going to be hard for you and me not to talk about politics.
Look, I'll be home. I'll probably be home by 9 o'clock.
Dershey, think of something really snarky for us to do if she doesn't show up.
You have to wear a dress.
You're the one going out, not me. I may be on the show naked.
Ew, nobody wants to see that.
I knew that was coming. On that note, we will be back.
You'll never make it on the air, Chuck. Never make it on the air.
You've got a body for radio.
Remember, I control the buttons.
Yeah.
You've got a radio for. You've got a body for radio.
Just the chin up. Chin up.
Chin up. Alrighty, we're gonna get out of here. Next Wednesday at 9:30 is the Chuck and Lisa show. Next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, assuming Dershey doesn't bog off to Europe, we will be doing the right side of politics. I don't know why it's even called the right side of politics, but it's the right side of politics.
You don't know why?
Well, because it's like it should be the Dershey and Chuck show or the Chuck and Dershey show.
Well, it's the right side of politics with Chuck and Dersh, so you know.
Right. What do you want to call it? The Ren and Stimpy show?
Because we're on the right side of politics.
We are. Anyway, the right side of politics is on next Tuesday at 8 p.m. with Dershey and me, and we are not nearly as nice and non-political as we are now. Well, we're nice,
Do you
but we're
fidget as much?
I always do.
You're shaking the camper.
Oh no. Are you shaking?
No, I'm
Alrighty.
leaving. I'm out.
All right. Anyway,
Peace out.
well, no, not yet.
I am.
Yeah, we got to do the official out.
Well,
You're
let's
not
do
that,
it.
That big of a hurry.
Yes, we are.
What, you
So
dying over
I
there?
have to go to the wee chat room.
All right, Dersey, take us on out of here, buddy. We love you.
Alright. Love you guys. Thanks for
Say
joining
goodnight,
us tonight. Say goodnight to Lisa, everybody.
Good night, Lisa.
Good night, Lisa. Good night, Dersey.
Good night,
We
good
love
night.
you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, Jerry, everybody.
Good night, Jerry.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Helen, thank you for joining us.
Yep,
Yeah.
and if you haven't subscribed during
Yeah.
the chat room, please make sure you subscribe before you leave.
Yes, down
And
below.
make sure you
Tell your
like
friends.
the show. And join
Most
us again.
importantly, subscribe.
Join
Yes,
us again
please.
next week for the Chuck and Lisa show, 9:30 on Wednesday, right here on this YouTube channel. We love you guys. You guys have a great
Bye.
one. We're out.
We're out of here.